Look at this woman. Look at her. Now look at this man. He's looking straight at you. How should we begin looking at them? Each of them is seated in a different space. These spaces have boundaries. They appear before us, but not for us. Who are they? Sound will accompany our investigation. A musical piece will start playing now. This piece has a title. It is called The Pursuit of Perfection. Is this the perfect couple? Let us begin our investigation by looking at them separately. What do they do? This woman is a lawyer. This man is a CEO. They are both sitting in their offices. Let us have a closer look at the woman. Look at her sitting behind her desk. On the desk, to her left, there is a computer screen, a keyboard, and a mouse. Next to the keyboard, there is a telephone machine. Behind the computer screen, 3 books are mounted, one on top of the other. Behind the books, there is a lamp. To her right, placed arbitrarily, are 4 binders. Behind her, there is a file cabinet. In the bottom center of the cabinet, there is a safe. Inside the safe, there are 3 piles of paper and a small box. The lawyer has brown short hair and brown eyes. Her skin is fair and makes a pleasant contrast with her black blouse and the dark brown color of her desk and cabinet. The window to her left lets in strong daylight, which produces a blurry reflection of the woman's face on her desk. Now let us look at the man. He is also sitting behind the desk. This is not his private desk. This is a long table placed in the center of a meeting room. He's sitting at the end of the table. To his right are 9 identical chairs facing a window. To his left are 9 other chairs facing a wall and a glass door. Behind him, glued on the wall, there is a wallpaper. The map of the world is printed on it. The daylight that sheds softly on his face makes his white full hair blend with the wallpaper. His glasses are invisible, except for the finely crafted frame holding them together. What can we know about them from looking at their offices? Let us have a closer look at the woman's office. This room is on the other side of the wall, behind the dark brown wooden cabinet where the lawyer sits. This room is also a part of the office. Confined by 4 walls, this is a meeting room. One wall has a large window facing the outside. Another wall is in fact a barrier made of glass. There is a round table surrounded by 8 chairs in the center of the room. Above it, exactly in the middle, hangs a chandelier consisting of 4 plates. The plates, which grow more and more convex as they approach the light socket, face the round table. Behind the table, placed on the windowsill, there is a telephone machine. There are 4 drawings on the wall. Each of them is framed. The drawings are all pencil and brush made, exhibiting 4 different forms of abstraction. The room is very bright. Due to the large windows surrounding the entire office, of which this room is a part, light changes throughout the day. The various objects in the room reflect the light coming from the windows. The changes in light during the day are expressed on the surfaces of the furniture. The walls are painted white, and the flower-like chandelier is white as well. The carpet, chairs, and table are all dark brown, although they are made of different materials. The table may look white, but this is due to the strong light coming from the windows. The artwork on the left wall maintains the strict balance between the two dominant colors in the room, while the glass frame reflects the light. This way, the four pieces make one unit that weaves all variations of color and light in a small space. This is not the largest meeting room in the office. This is a room inside the same complex, located on the 47th floor of a skyscraper. This too is an office. Like the small meeting room, this office also faces a view of a city. This room too has 4 walls, 3 of them opaque. The other wall separates the office from a corridor. This corridor leads to the lawyer's office. This office bears some similarity to the lawyer's office. The latter is separated by 8 other offices from its left, and is closer by approximately 20 meters to the front desk of the complex than the former. Like the lawyer's office, this office is lighted by natural light coming from the windows. Unlike the smaller office, the first office has a meeting area very similar to a small living room. The lawyer's office is bigger than all the other offices on the floor, but smaller than the large meeting room. Together they make one big complex, which is the property of one firm. All the other offices on the floor resemble one another in size and shape, and differ according to the personal touch of the various people working in them. Like this office, this one was also designed according to the taste of its occupier. When the lawyer sits in her office, she is a part of the whole complex and likewise of her own room. She is a unit within many other units, which together make the 47th floor. This collection of messes forms one body out of its somewhat separate objects. This body moves, sometimes in ways not visible to a human eye. It grows and changes form constantly. Objects move other objects. People pick up the phone, type on a keyboard, left next to a coffee machine, and open doors for clients. The safe behind the lawyer's desk expands when the air conditioning is switched off. The light radiating from the windows raises the temperature. People are free to walk in and out of the office. Mostly, they see themselves part of the bigger unit and choose to come back. Their movement is almost timed. Files and binders also find their way out, while new ones come in. Air and light constantly penetrate the spaces and move out through an open door or a glass window. The office also regulates its temperature, as it is dependent on the electricity coming from an outside source. When the lawyer sits at her desk, she is a part of that system and a part of a bigger system outside the 47th floor. Her actions and thoughts are bound by different bodies, her knowledge and feelings being a part of that conglomerate. Look at the CEO. His office is located in the same city his wife's office is in. Being a collection of messes taken to be one, his office resembles the first office. He is one of those messes. Together with other offices, they make one body. The distance between the perfectionists changes according to different parameters. When they write each other an email, their words and thoughts travel through cable lines, making a long journey through cities, open fields, and seas. Were they to take it by foot, it would have taken them years, perhaps a lifetime. Look at this car. Now the music will come in again. This short piece was written for this car commercial. Every night before they go to sleep, the husband and wife watch this commercial on the television screen. Does this make this music a part of them? Are they a part of this sound? Are they a part of this image? In what way is this car a part of them? Do they own one? Do they want to own one? Does this commercial make them want to have something they did not possess until now? How do they communicate their desires? The perfect couple met when they were 10 years old. Almost alone, two children in a big cinema, watching this movie for the first time. Their pursuit of the perfect way of communication started here, with this image.
L'assurdo Totò, l'umano Totò, il matto Totò, il dolce Totò. Nella storia, uccellacci ed uccellini, raccontata da Pierpaolo.
Look at the twitting man. This is the same image the man and woman, then only 10 years old, had seen 45 years ago. From this day on, whenever they wanted to express their desires, they would twit to one another. This is how they twit. Their twitting echoes across the open spaces between them. This is a twit of concern. This is a twit of longing. This is a twit of distress. This is a twit of despair. Their twitting perfects all forms of whistling. This is not a common whistle. It bears a meaning more meaningful than any verbal privilege. It takes into consideration the risk of not being heard, but also bears the promise of being understood only by one another. Is the cinematic manipulation a part of the place they're in now? Is it a part of their offices? When the architectural layout of the offices was drawn, did the architect bear in mind this childhood memory?
Dai, 1, 2, 3, dai Nine! Dai pure te papà! Maleducato!
Is it a present and constant part of their feelings, thoughts? If it is, then this movie, shot in a country they may not have visited, is also a part of the body they now belong to. Cinematic manipulation was assimilated successfully. Silence. The husband is gone. Is she concerned? Longing? Distressed? She's desperate. The room he had occupied is now a crime scene. The perfect crime scene. All facts are being gathered. The warmth of the leather chair, the sweat marks left on the table, the disappearing of a shadow once casted. Blood marks that are there, if they are there, would only be found by the crime scene inspectors. They're not visible to a human eye. What crime was committed there? Was it a perfect crime? All we know is that he disappeared. The body he was part of is not the same anymore. Is she worried she might disappear too? Will she be relieved if he were to come back?